Both before and during the highly anticipated release of Dune Part 2, cast and crew along with industry insiders were discussing the prospect of Dune 3, referring to it as though it was already a sure thing. However, in the weeks following its release, there has been no confirmation of a third installment. Not only that, but recent comments from Legendary and Dune director Denis Villeneuve have cast a shadow of doubt over whether or not an adaptation of Frank Herbert's sequel novel Dune Messiah will see the light of day. In this video, I'd like to break down the latest news, including all the recent comments from production staff, and examine whether the prospect of Dune 3 is a realistic expectation. In December of 2023, entertainment reporter and insider Jeff Snyder commented in his newsletter saying, quote, "I'm already hearing rumblings that Warner Brothers is so bullish on Villeneuve's vision for Dune that Part 3 has already been greenlit with a 2027 release date in mind. Warner Brothers sees Part 2 as a home run, and internally, I'm hearing the studio is already projecting an opening north of $100 million. As it turned out, the opening weekend saw the film rake in $178 million worldwide. Yet after several weeks, there has been no word confirming Snyder's report. However, it's worth mentioning that this report merely discusses the point of view from Warner Brothers. Given that Legendary put up 80% of the cost of production, while Warner Brothers took the other 20% and handled film distribution, it seems that the green light for another Dune film could be Legendary's decision. Shortly after the film's debut, Legendary Pictures executive Mary Parent was interviewed by The Wrap and commented on the prospects of the third film. Parent was asked what she could say about the potential timetable for the next Dune film and answered saying, "I'm superstitious, so one day at a time. Opening weekend, it's incredibly rewarding just to see how the audience is responding to the film. So things feel good, but I think we're all superstitious and we'll see how things unfold." Now, several weeks later, it appears they have likely decided to wait until Dune Part 2 officially finishes its box office run to properly assess the financial risks against potential gains in order to determine whether they can justify another Dune entry. In light of the fact that Dune Part 2 is one of Legendary's biggest financial gambles, Mary Parent was also asked if more films that cost the studio over $100 million could be in their future, to which Parent responded saying, "Sure, if it's a story that we're excited to tell, and that's the best way to tell it. We try to be very responsible in terms of how we make our films, but at the same time, when we believe in something, we have the financial wherewithal to do that, which is one of the exciting things about the company. You're right, it's a very complex and difficult adaptation, and I think there's only a handful of filmmakers that you would make this film with, and Denis was at the top of the list." Parent's remarks seem to sidestep the question in regards to future Dune films, but her initial comment citing the importance of a strong story and development strategy in their ongoing effort to be responsible in how they make their films is revealing in terms of their current approach. It's certainly understandable given the state of Hollywood that led to a string of high-budget films with low-quality storytelling that ended up spawning the term "flopbuster." However, this cautious approach when it comes to a third Dune film is a bit of a surprise, as the prospect for Dune 3 has been a topic of discussion since marketing for the first film began. From the very beginning, director Denis Villeneuve has made a point to talk about his dream of also adapting the sequel novel Messiah, and it seemed as though he had great confidence in the third film being greenlit. Weeks before Dune Part 2's release, Villeneuve revealed that the script for the third film was currently being written, and that it will take a little time to finish. Cast members had also begun to excitedly talk about Dune 3 as if it was already happening. Shortly before the release of Dune Part 2, composer Hans Zimmer in an interview with Variety was asked if he was still currently writing music for Dune in an attempt to confirm whether work on the next film had begun. To which he responded saying, "Of course, Denis comes in on the second day of shooting and wordlessly comes in and puts Dune Messiah on my desk. And I know where we're going, and I know we're not done." Yet in the time since all of this hype peaked, the tone has drastically changed regarding the prospect of another film. During the opening weekend for Dune Part 2, CEO of Legendary Entertainment, Josh Grode, spoke to CNBC where he expressed his excitement for the film's box office prospects, saying, "I think this is a movie where you know the word of mouth is going to carry it. It is a stupendous piece of filmmaking. There's no other way to say it. I've just about run out of adjectives." However, when it came to addressing a potential third film, he also held to Legendary's cautious approach, revealing specific qualifiers for Dune 3 to be greenlit, saying, "We have to have all creative stakeholders aligned and support the vision. I think everybody is very excited and really enjoying this moment, and if Denis Villeneuve gets the script right and he feels that he can deliver another experience on par with what we've just completed, then I don't see why not." Considering these qualifiers, it looks like Dune 3 is not a sure thing after all, as it entirely hinges on the strength of the script and for Villeneuve to once again sell the studio his vision for the film. This sentiment is now also being repeated by Denis Villeneuve in a shocking change of tone for the director. In an interview with Empire magazine a couple weeks after Dune Part 2's release, the director commented that it would be healthy for him to take a break from the Dune franchise. And in regards to the questionable status of Dune 3, he said, quote, "First, make sure that we have a strong screenplay. The thing I want to avoid is not having something ready. I never did it, and now I feel it could be dangerous because of the enthusiasm. We need to make sure all the ideas are on paper. If we go back, it needs to be real, it needs to be relevant. If ever I do Dune Messiah, it's because it's going to be better than Part 2. Otherwise, I don't do it." For many fans, these comments come across as bad news, as their once sure expectations for Dune 3 have been thrown into question. The next Dune project that is scheduled to release is the Dune Prophecy series on the Max streaming service. However, this project has been met with skepticism among the fan base. The concern primarily arises from the fact that the series is a prequel that does not directly draw from the original works of Frank Herbert. Instead, Dune Prophecy looks to be loosely based on the novel Sisterhood of Dune, written by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson, incorporating a few of its characters without strictly adhering to its story. Given the looming uncertainty surrounding the green lighting of Dune 3, there's a rising concern that a lackluster audience reception to Dune Prophecy could further erode the confidence of executives and stakeholders in the viability of continuing the Dune saga. Such an outcome could potentially derail the momentum of the franchise, negatively impacting the prospects for Dune 3. The silver lining to the delay in greenlighting Dune 3 and the uncertainty surrounding it is the indication that the film won't be hastily produced. History shows that rushing new projects to market is what has led to the downfall of several major franchises, so it's crucial they take the time necessary to do it right. Considering the ending of Dune Part 2, director Villeneuve and his team are facing the significant challenge of creating a third installment that surpasses the visual and emotional impact of the first two films. As I've covered in a previous video, the changes made in Dune Parts 1 and 2 will have a sizable impact on the story of Dune Messiah, so there's some extra work to be done in order to connect these story threads from the first two films to the events of the second book in a faithful manner. While I'm concerned about the studio's cautious approach and the impact that a failed Dune Prophecy series would have on the future prospects of the franchise, I find comfort in knowing that all those involved are dedicated to taking their time to create another cinematic adaptation of Frank Herbert's work that will keep audiences enthralled. But I'm curious to know what you think about the uncertainty surrounding Dune 3. Are these comments from the director and studio executives concerning to you? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more Dune and other sci-fi and fantasy news and lore. And if you're looking for other ways to show your appreciation, you can check out my Patreon page, where members get access to exclusive content and perks. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.